Alright, Shalom. I'd like to say Kahalayim, Wahawadla, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. The want to say apostles and elders of great milestone do well. Peace and blessing to the acrimony will that pushes through to the four corners of the earth. And we got precept. So there's the second is just 9 verse 3. Right? I'll start from verse 1, right? It say, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the sign pass, which I have told thee, I said, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he had made. Right? It say, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, right? And there's something that we're seeing a lot of right now. We started to see uproars of people because of things like the coronavirus pertaining to like hunger, you understand, because of lack of food. You're seeing people even starting to uproar because of all the restrictions that they're under, and for many other things. Like all these things are prophecy, right? All these things are what the scriptures refer to as the signs of the times when you read further down.
So you saw that video we showed you just a little while ago, 2 of them actually, people storming the Capitol in Michigan, and people having a funeral in defiance of the gatherings rules that have been set up in New York. So,
fuck, I wouldn't play this one first. I'll play this one first.
Jewish community disobeyed. There are 2 big stories that developed this week that may best capture the frustration that many Americans seem to feel about what's going on with the coronavirus in the United States. One occurred last night in Michigan. Amazing. Armed citizens stormed the Capitol. And then another occurred earlier this week in New York, where members of the Hasidic Jewish community disobeyed rules about large gatherings by taking to the streets in mass. Here's RT correspondent John Huddy.
Protesters stormed the state capitol in Lansing, Michigan Thursday, demanding to be allowed onto the House floor as Michigan lawmakers debated an extension to Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer's emergency coronavirus orders. Whitmer extended Michigan's state of emergency orders until May 28th, a move that will keep many businesses closed, particularly bars, restaurants, and casinos, while opening some other retail establishments and allowing people to use parks, boats, and to play golf. Still, protesters, some wearing bulletproof vests and armed with guns, demanded the entire order be lifted and the entire state be allowed to reopen. So far, there are more than 41,000 coronavirus cases in Michigan, with close to 4,000 deaths. President Trump tweeted his support for the protests in Michigan, writing, quote, "The governor of Michigan should give a little and put out the fire. These are very good people, but they are angry. They want their lives back again safely. See them, talk to them, make a deal." The scene in Michigan is one of several other recent protests against state coronavirus emergency orders. In Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, April 20th, hundreds of people protested the governor's shutdown orders there through May 8th, when the state plans to start gradually reopening its economy. And another scene unfolded this week that made headlines, this one in Brooklyn, New York, where the NYPD, on orders from New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, broke up a Hasidic Jewish funeral for a well-known rabbi, where hundreds of mourners at least packed the streets. De Blasio blasted the gathering, tweeting, "Something absolutely unacceptable happened in Williamsburg tonight, a large funeral gathering in the middle of this pandemic. When I heard, I went there myself to ensure the crowd was dispersed, and what I saw will not be tolerated so long as we are fighting the coronavirus." De Blasio followed up with another tweet saying he instructed the NYPD to start handing out tickets or even arrest anyone gathering in large groups, writing, "This is about stopping this disease and saving lives, period." He later apologized for lashing out at the mourners, saying he spoke out of passion and frustration and has great love and respect for New York's Jewish community, though adding,
"The notion that people would gather in large numbers, and even if they didn't mean to, would spread a disease that will kill other members of the community is just unacceptable to me."
For the news with Rick Sanchez, John Huddy.
And that is just for simple restrictions. And right now, people not even feeling the full blunt to say, well, you know, like a lot of people really starving to a high degree because it didn't really reach the frustration point yet for some people. It's still a lot of people who are still essential workers they could still be able to get by with certain things. You know, a lot of people are affected, but it's not like the majority of people are affected by it. You understand? We have a lot of people who were laid off because of the type of jobs that they have, and they're probably having difficulties receiving like welfare and so forth from the government. But it still have a lot of people that still making money and are still able to go and buy food. But as time progresses, you understand, and things get worse, after a couple months, it will start to expand to more and more people. And that is when these uproars will start to get worse. And they will even start to get more dangerous. Because the ones who was eating before now starting to get hungry. And the ones who hungry from since the beginning, they're in an even worse case. You understand? So things will start to get more and more violent as time goes by. And all of these things pertain to prophecy. The scriptures talk about these things.
A little while ago, two of them actually, people storming the Capitol in Michigan, and people having a funeral in defiance of the gatherings rules that have been set up in New York. So we ask the question now with these types of things, and by the way, both situations got kind of ugly there when the police had to move in. What is going on? Is there a general sense of frustration in the United States, and is it, as much of anything else, just psychological? I mean, almost to be expected given what we're living through right now. Joining us is Dr. Lisa Palmer. She specializes in psychotherapy at the Renew Center out of Boca Raton, Florida. My stomping grounds, as I like to say. Dr. Lisa, thanks so much for joining us. What is your take as you watch those videos? Are you looking at that and thinking, you know, there can't help but be some frustrations amongst Americans right now?
There absolutely is frustration. There's no question about it, Rick. We have two big problems, the economy being one of them. As you know, over 30 million Americans applied for unemployment. Mm-hmm. So they're really feeling the weight of that, and the pressure, the financial strain is causing a lot of trauma for people. In addition to that is this issue of loneliness that's been created by this forced isolation. So that's putting a lot of pressure on people.
But I imagine there's a difference between the loneliness that someone feels who's getting their full paycheck while sitting there watching Netflix all the time, and maybe complains because their backyard isn't big enough, and what's really being felt by those who don't have work, have lost their jobs, aren't sure they're ever going to be able to work again, and are wondering how the hell they're going to be able to feed their kids in the future.
Absolutely, no question about it. Scary thoughts. If you don't have savings, what the heck do you do? You might end up homeless. That's a reality for a lot of Americans who are wondering if they can work, if they're going to be hired, if they can go back to their jobs, if their current jobs are going to let them go, and for how long that's going to last. I know that I've had a couple of friends that had to take pay cuts, and they're worried about that. And for those people that are self-employed, they're wondering when they can get started and when the economy is going to get going again so they can bring in business. It's a real dilemma for sure.
One of the most important things in life, I think, and I'm not a psychotherapist, but that we all have to have some kind of vision in our head, some kind of plan, some kind of light at the end of the tunnel. But it seems like we're living during a time when, between our leadership and the media and the disparity of direction, it's kind of hard to find our way. Is that part of what we're suffering from as well? Or is that part of the cause, I should say?
You raise a really good point, because this is definitely a time of scarcity on many levels. And what we really need is an attitude of abundance during this time of scarcity, which is difficult for a lot of people. But as I like to say, your wealth comes from within you. So we can utilize this time to align with faith, hope, and love, and really try to utilize our resources and our friendships and our support systems to grow within ourselves and build our skills, so that when the economy gets bustling again, we can bring a strong...
Nice enough for that crap. People like that is mostly only talk positive when they are the ones who are not affected by it. She probably still eating normal. You know, everything is still in a comfortable state with her. Let she have to end up in the situation of one of those people who's starving and have to wait on welfare checks and so forth, and the checks not coming, and the need to feed the self or the family. She wouldn't be as positive. You know, that is the nature of people. You're seeing over and over, and that is just in America. It have other countries. I saw some videos with other countries, people actually looting shops. You understand? It even had an article down here with a man that killed himself. You understand? Because he couldn't be able to keep up with the bills and so forth. You understand? Let's forget the article. Alright, this is the article here. It says man dies. Alright, sorry. Say man dies by suicide after eviction troubles. Right? Say a 62-year-old Guyanese man. Why this thing keep popping up? Yeah. Our national was found dead yesterday morning in Trin City. Right, as I look. Why? What the hell is this? The point of the matter is, like, he was having eviction problems. You understand? And not only eviction problems, but financial problems also. And eventually he committed suicide because he couldn't be able to deal with the stress. And it will have other people, because of the similar stress, either from this self-isolation or from lack of food or whatever the case may be. You understand? It will cause other people to malfunction. Probably the suicide rate probably skyrocketing by now. Because the ones who will be under depression and so forth, and already have problems with meeting others and socializing, now they can't socialize. And for the people who are not able to eat and not be able to take care of certain financial responsibilities, they and all will be, tripping out. Say even down here in the city, I mean, the domestic violence rate went up. And all these things go down, stimulate and become worse as time goes by. The worse it gets is the worse people are reacting to. And all these things are part of prophecy. The scriptures talk about it. And these are things that we had to be ready to see when that time comes. Because dealing with tutors on a normal basis is frustrating. So imagine being surrounded by tutors who have nothing to eat. You understand? And have malignant spirits on them. All these things are not signs. Why? Because these things are surely signs of the end. I said, do I touch on that? I'll put edifying. With that, I say shalom.